Welcome back. All right, so we're going to talk about a Christmas movie tonight. Is it talking about or warning people about a Christmas movie?
I think this is a warning. This is a Christmas movie warning.
But people are giving this one positive reviews.
They're ridiculous.
So I'm not sure. I think the bar's lower.
This is funny though. It's kind of usually the other way around. Usually we see reviews that movies aren't very good, but then we end up
I've had that with horror movies for decades.
Yeah.
Where I really like it and then reviewers tell me I'm stupid.
A lot of my favorite movies aren't reviewed that great. So.
I don't. So we watched Falling for Christmas, which is the new Lindsay Lohan movie.
On Netflix.
So the first thing I noticed was the character she was playing is younger than who she is. Like,
yes.
So if this movie had been done and if her character had been played by and the name that came to mind for me was like Selena Gomez or even Vanessa Hudgens, you know, somebody else who's a little bit younger. I thought that and I didn't quite understand. So was she famous or was she not?
She was rich.
But they played it off like maybe she was famous because she had this boyfriend.
No, she's just rich, but does a lot of social media like Instagram. And so she has all the followers. So
right.
She was posting to get more likes.
Because there's a certain level of fame in that. And yet...
Right, so it would have just been like through social media. But she was rich because her family owned the hotels.
Now, this is a movie that really, it tries something different and then it makes Santa Claus an attempted murderer, which I thought was... It's jarring. Well, so if you haven't watched it, spoiler alert.
Hold on.
Spoiler alert. Okay? Spoiler alert.
We're going to warn you, worst movie ever. Just saying.
I don't know about worst movie ever. The Room exists. But...
Well, that's true. But see, that one is so bad, like it's almost entertaining.
Yeah, this is not a so bad it's good.
This is just really bad. And if I wasn't watching with Shannon, there's no way I would have watched the whole movie.
Oh, I wouldn't have either. Right. I thought about turning it off. You saw me pick up the remote, and I thought about turning it off about half an hour in.
It was
the first time we saw Santa Claus, I picked up the remote, and I was like...
stupid. Okay, so, for those wanting to watch the movie, we will say it is awful. I have watched so many Christmas movies. I watched the ridiculous Hallmark movies. I don't mind them. Sometimes they're kind of fun. Sometimes they're cute. This was just bad.
It was so
Worst
bad.
Christmas movie I have ever watched.
Just so...
We were able to guess the entire storyline early on, except for the whole Santa Claus thing.
But other than
that, horrible movie.
So it's your standard...
Hold on. So then, there you go. So if you want to watch the movie, go watch the movie. And then you can listen to us complain about it.
So it's...
If not, okay.
It's your standard. It's your standard boy meets
movie.
Girl, and she's with someone else.
The rich girl from the big city, and the guy from the small town, and he's a widow.
But they're on the same mountain.
A single dad.
They're on the same mountain.
But you can have multiple ski resorts.
There's two different ski resorts in the on the same mountain. And so her dad runs one ski hill, and he runs the other. This I guess protagonist in this movie.
There's ski resorts, and one's the really fancy one.
But come on,
the one that's been there for 100 years.
It's not like the one the other guy runs isn't ridiculously posh. It's not like it looks run down. It's not like there's any problems with it.
I have decided.
It looks fantastic.
The reason that the smaller one was going bankrupt was because they spent way too much on Christmas. All of the Christmas decorations, like the amount of Christmas decorations in every single room, and then how much money it would cost to have all of these employees put them up, and then whatever space you would have to store all of it the rest of the year. That's probably what made it
You never
bankrupt.
see a guest in there either.
There were in the...
Very few. At the beginning.
Lobby.
At the beginning. But during most of the movie, he can have a conversation with her in the lodge. You see nobody.
No, there were people. There were
Not
people in the background. And then when you went to the smaller one, there were way more people. You saw more people. Because they were in the lobby more often.
And then, this... It's just... So they do the amnesia storyline, which is standard, but for her to get amnesia, she falls on her when she's going down the mountain, and her head hits a tree at about 100 miles an hour.
You're totally skipping around.
But she's dead.
Because of Santa.
Santa, down.
Maple.
Oh, I gotta get her down. Down. And that's why we've got the jerseys all wrapped up. Nope, down. Out. And that's why the jerseys are all wrapped up in the hockey room. While her sister is laying here, behaving, Maple's climbing up on jerseys in here. Alright, so, good girl, and that's why you get treats. So her head hits this tree at a ridiculous speed, and they show it.
That was awful.
And like,
awful. Okay. Awful.
And we both said out loud, she's dead. Because if your head hits a tree at that speed, you're not getting up. And then he goes over, the protagonist, and rolls her over.
Though. That was terrible.
Didn't call 911, which anybody would have been. I mean, he's got the radio, and I thought, okay, so he's going to call for an ambulance. Nope. Just, yeah, it needs... And then all of a sudden, she's in the hospital. So they didn't show how he got her off the mountain, she's suddenly in the hospital, and she's okay. Her head's bandaged for one scene, and then she's okay. She's just got a traumatic brain injury, and she's got amnesia, but for the rest of the movie, it's played for laughs.
But they expected her to know everything else. Like, how to do everything else, and they kick her out of the hospital that day?
Yeah. Like, we're going to send you home with this complete stranger when you have amnesia, because reasons.
And they expect her to do things, and they were quite rude about it, even in the hospital.
Yeah, she had to do chores, she had to do everything, even though she's got a traumatic brain injury, and...
Yeah, and then as soon as she gets to the hotel that first day, they're having her do chores. And
mocking her when she's having trouble with it. Like...
It was odd. Odd.
Come on, your head hit that tree at 100 miles an hour yesterday. Let's get to it. Let's go. And no... Like, I was floored. And it was all because Santa Claus did that with his nose.
To make a little girl's note.
Santa Claus is dangerous, because this little girl wanted her dad to fall in love or whatever. And so he's like, okay, I'll try to murder them. Not understanding the assignment at all. And making sure that her fiancé-to-be is gone. That he went the other way. He falls into a... Like,
yeah, the mountain cracked open.
Whoever wrote this movie's never been on a mountain. I don't know that they know how... I would imagine they know what a mountain looks like, but I don't think they've ever been on one, because the way that it just opens in the middle, those are called volcanoes, and generally when you fall in the middle, you don't live. But he goes through the middle, and somehow it's the other side of the mountain, and...
And then he has to walk all day in the snow, improperly dressed.
And then it's just, well, we've got to walk a couple of days to get... What? How? Why? How? Like, I don't understand any of this. I don't get it. And the guy has electricity in his little cabin, which was like a TARDIS, because it was bigger on the inside than it was on the outside.
Yeah, it was.
I noticed that right away. I was like,
it's
this
on the
tiny
outside,
little...
it was a fishing shack?
Like in Letterkenny.
Yeah.
It was like,
yeah,
one
like
of
the
those
ones that
shacks.
use enough that has like a bench and a hole.
And then he gets arrested later for poaching fish, I guess, but he
They
never
said,
poached
they just
anything.
Said poaching. He's out here for poaching.
But he didn't poach anything. You can't arrest somebody because of what they're thinking about doing. It's not how it works. Unless it's that movie Tom Cruise was in, where they would arrest you for crimes you hadn't committed yet.
Oh, right.
I was stupid. I never got through that. That's why I don't really remember the name, and I don't care, because I was like, this is dumb, and I turned it off. Which I almost did with this. And some of the acting in this was...
All of the acting.
So bad.
Well, it wasn't all the acting.
Bad.
All of the lines were really bad.
Yeah, like Lindsay Lohan.
The characters were exaggerated characters.
Yes. Lindsay Lohan starts out as this rich, snobbish... And then when she has her head injury...
Super snob.
But when she has her head injury, she's suddenly talking like Lindsay Lohan normally does. I mean, I don't think a head injury would change your voice, but hers did. So, alright. And then she never went back.
The characters were so odd. It reminded me of those shows for tweens where it's just goofy and all of the characters are over the top.
Yeah, like
and
Zack
their
and Cody.
expressions are just
Zack
You
and
know?
Cody, Wizards of Waverly Place.
Yeah, those. So
Um,
all of the
Weird
writing and
slapstick,
acting was like that.
dumb jokes.
Yeah.
So you know the kind of jokes where they're really obvious and hardy har har that make your 12-year-old laugh? That's kind of what most of the jokes were.
How all of their mannerisms were. All of the characters were
Wooden.
just like extra.
Everybody
They're-
was one-dimensional.
All of the really rich people are all, I can't do that. Like people
And
were
then, like,
holding
there
her
were-
glass to drink.
There were so many lines where I would say to you, they wouldn't say that.
No,
That's not what anybody would say. And every time somebody picks up something in the movie, it has some kind of significance. So I picked this up, and you'd be like, oh, my dad gave me that when I was a little girl. And it's just
Yes.
this random item that's picked up and randomly, and then it's this, you can get this great storyline from behind. I would love to
You're
just
like,
once
and
see...
that's gonna come into play.
It would have been great if once somebody picked something up and went, does this mean anything? They go, nope, nothing.
Walking-
Oh, all right.
Oh, you're looking at this photo of. Oh, I remember this.
This was
and-
the last
oh.
time I saw my mother
Yeah.
before she died. Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad I picked that up. Well, that's awkward.
It's so weird. So many weird conversations. Oh, it's too bad this is our last Christmas. Complete stranger that I just met yesterday.
Well, the
Until-
little girl decides
Oh.
basically, I want you to be my mom within 5 minutes. This is a little girl that desperately needs a mom, which makes me worry about the dad.
I can't imagine doing this without you again. They knew each other for 4 days.
It's just like, and that was right after he's like, no, we can't do this. You might have a boyfriend and you're just forgetting because of your amnesia. And within hours, he's like, I can't do this without you. And then they're like spending Christmas together, and then they didn't. And then she was ready to leave for summer. Why was she going to leave? All of a sudden, she got
was
emotional.
done.
She was going to leave.
She was done.
When did her memory come back?
When her dad came in, when they said her name.
I
And
mean,
then they did Sierra? Sarah? Sierra's my name! And it was like, and then she remembered her
Isn't it
boyfriend
great-
proposing
isn't it great that-
to her.
randomly the little girl gave her the name Sarah. Isn't that great that she randomly gave her a name
No.
that's really similar to her real name?
She listed off the name
3.
of her dolls.
She listed 3 names,
And-
and one of them happened to be very close to her real name.
And she was like, that's a pretty name.
It's
That
just
wasn't totally random.
it really felt like it. It just there were so many coincidences.
See, to me, that one wasn't too
To
bad.
me-
There were so many other things that were way worse.
To me, I mean,
Why
I
was
was
Santa there?
I was worried that they were going to go
What?
full Naked Gun. I was worried that at some point it was going to go full
It was-
Naked Gun because it was close to Naked Gun.
It's so weird. All of a sudden, wait, there's magic in this movie?
Yeah, there was magic in the movie that's not established earlier, and it's not acknowledged
It's a
later.
totally normal movie, and all of a sudden,
So
there's
Santa's
a
just
magic
hanging
Santa.
out, and then he's selling stuff to the people that he's manipulated to be together. And I'm like, wow, now he's taking their money? Santa's kind of a prick.
And he was creepy, too.
Yeah,
He was a creepy Santa.
like it's just, you know, his mannerisms and just there was so
weird.
much.
It was so weird.
You know,
And
I
then-
want my mom to find somebody. You want your mom in a coma? God, no, Santa. She's in a coma. Like, it's just, I don't...
It was really weird. It was really weird. And then, almost the end of the movie, I all of a sudden realized, oh yeah, Santa's in this movie. Maybe he's gonna be involved in the end. Because all he did in the beginning was
The nose thing.
for the letter,
then
and then
yeah,
they fell
and
off
then-
the mountain.
Yeah, he made her fall
And then
off
there
the
was
mountain
no
and almost
Santa.
die. He almost killed her.
Oh, that was awful. I know I already said
But then
it,
he
but really,
smiled
that
when
was
he
terrible.
smiled when he saw them together. Like, yeah, I gave you that head injury, and now you guys are together, and you're going to go canoodle places. I did that because I gave you that traumatic brain injury. You want me to sign your head?
So weird. So weird. Santa should not have been in the movie. That was just pointless.
Santa shouldn't have been a psycho in the movie.
Well,
that would have
too.
been nice.
But it didn't fit in the movie
No,
at all.
it literally is a Deus Ex Machina. What he does.
Yes.
It's almost as if the writers are
He
like,
plays
I don't know.
no other part.
It's like the writers went, let's do something a little bit different. I don't know, Santa Claus. He's just magic.
That that would actually make sense. So then they could be like, "Well, crap, we have to put Santa somewhere else in the movie."
It's like Doctor Who writers and the Sonic Screwdriver. How's the Doctor going to get out of the situation? Sonic Screwdriver. Done. Slap that on the board. That's finished. All right, how do these guys get out of this? I don't know. Santa Claus? Cool. Santa Claus. Done. It's so ridiculous.
But he barely even did anything for the end either.
At the end, it was It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes.
It goes from Overboard to It's a Wonderful Life. Although it's like Overboard, but without
really bad
any manipulation by the dad. It's just stupid. And
it was awful. The whole thing was awful.
Like, I like the movie Overboard. The original with Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. The remake was not very good. But, yeah, they took the Overboard idea and they took the jokes out of it. I mean, if he had known who she was, like if they'd gone full Overboard, if he had known who she was and maybe they were sort of, manipulating her a little bit, you might have had a little bit of a better story. And then at the end, she's like, you knew who I was the whole time. And they even had a scene together at the start of the movie.
Which you just met her yesterday. And it's not like they met in passing.
It's not like she was wearing a Halloween costume either. She had like a wolf mask on or something.
A fluffy... Oh, it was so...
It made it look like she had 6 boobs.
It did, yeah.
6 furry boobs.
Big, fluffy ones. And she yelled and screamed at him. But he had no idea who she was.
Nope.
She wouldn't remember a person from the day before.
Who lives just down the road. Right. And her dad is your main competitor. Jack Wagner could not have phoned this in more either. The one who played her dad. He was just Jack Wagner. He was just himself. It was just very, it's like he read the script and went, well, this is dumb, but it's a paycheck. And that's kind of where it went. And he was just kind of, he was there just to make sure that she got her memory back. And I couldn't tell whether he was supposed to be a really good dad or not.
Right. It was
because at the start, it seemed like maybe he was manipulating her. And then at the end, it was, I just want you to be happy, sweetheart. And it's like, what? We didn't establish that you guys had this great loving relationship. How did she become this really weird Pepto-Bismol suit-wearing person? I just...
To me, she was a really, corny version of
Paris Hilton.
Paris Hilton.
Yeah, she was Paris Hilton.
Because she was
you don't get a Paris
really
Hilton.
Rich daughter of a hotel owner. She's really into doing her social media posts, and she dresses in the bright, ridiculous clothing. She was Paris Hilton.
She looked like a bottle of Pepto-Bismol. Like, it was insane. And yet the reviews for this movie are good. People like it.
Terrible.
And I remember thinking, well, I guess we can watch this one because the reviews are good, and I like Lindsay Lohan. I always have. I'm glad she got her personal troubles put aside and everything, but
she's really pretty in the movie. She does look good, though the outfits in the beginning are just terrible. She did look good
because she started wearing her normal
decorations
clothes.
Were so over the top.
Those stairs. What are the points of arm railings if all they are is decorations?
So many.
So they wrap it in the
fake
tree
and garland.
Tree. Well, yes. But it's the fake tree. Garland is normally plastic. These were the fake tree branches, and there was garland with that as well. And then there was all those giant balls. I have no idea.
So many huge balls.
It got to the point where by the end of the movie, I was just saying balls because there's just these. You'd see them talking, and there's this huge ornament, and there's this giant ball right between them, and I'm like. Balls. All the trees were gold.
Gold. So much gold.
Gold trees and balls.
I've never seen a gold tree. I've seen silver trees, but...
And there were gold trees with gold decorations and gold lights.
Gold. Covered in gold garland.
Balls. And they had that weird... It looked like the tree was CGI'd in with the fake snow on it.
There was CGI'd Christmas trees, and they, glow, and there was CGI snow, and then it would all of a sudden stop.
The CGI snow, what really distracted my eye
down and done.
So the snow was dropping, but you could see it disappear. So it would go halfway down the screen and then would just disappear. Like poof. Kaiser Soze right out of existence. I couldn't figure out, so how does snow doesn't do that. It keeps falling to the ground, it doesn't just disappear.
It's so weird.
And again, it would just distract my, it's one of those things Red Letter Media has always said, this or that is fake, and your brain can pick up on it, and it takes you out of the moment when you can see a CGI thing that's really fake.
Like
it pulls you out of the movie.
Huge Christmas tree that didn't look like any of the other many Christmas trees in the scene.
Oh, and when they were singing and they were all doing this, all in unison. The whole crowd just starts doing this in unison, but nobody told them to do it.
I've never seen people.
And they started.
Caroling.
It's not that one person started and then everybody was doing it. They all just did it at the same time. Like the whole town came together and said, "All right, like we practiced. Every year we do this."
To me, it looked like there was somebody in front of them.
But nobody was there.
Singing.
They didn't show anybody doing that. So it just made it weird.
It was weird.
Like, you could have gone into
So
some
weird.
weird... You could have gone into this whole idea of maybe the whole town's a cult. Like, you could have gone down that rabbit hole, too. There was so much in this movie that I just found weird and off-putting.
The whole movie was weird and off-putting.
I don't know.
And it was like the Hallmark Christmas movies, but those can be entertaining, where you know what's gonna happen.
See, because I started a Christmas movie.
I actually called it quite early on.
Because I had started a different Christmas movie, but it was made like a Naked Gun type, and we turned that one off right away. Remember? Because it was like a Bullmark movie, and I was like, this is stupid.
Oh yeah, yesterday. No, that looked just beyond.
So I think that's part of the reason why I stayed with Falling for Christmas, because we already knew there was a really bad one on TV, and we didn't want to watch that one, so we might as well watch this really bad one instead. It's just bad choice from bad choice. But it was. That was
really terrible. But it was really quick in the movie that we guessed that Lindsay's character would be the rich girl.
Yep.
She would get
amnesia, going to fall in love.
Yeah, and she'd fall in love with the single dad.
Yep.
She'd become the mom of the little girl, and she would save the hotel. Yep. And I just kept saying, but I don't know where Santa's going to come in. Because he was there for that one scene.
Right away, every time her fiancé/boyfriend was on the screen, I said, that's her gay boyfriend. There's the gay fiancé. Because he was acting very effeminate, and I was like, okay, so he's gay then. And he was very into his looks, and he was talking like, oh, I don't know if my outfit matches the decor. And I'm like, could they make... Like, all he needed was a sign above his head that said, this guy is gay. It was so obvious and so over the top.
But like all of the characters in the movie. They were all exaggerations of a character.
You understand why they did that, right? That way when she breaks up with him at the end, she's not a jerk.
Right.
Because he's actually gay and she's doing him a favor.
Right.
That's why she says, I know you. I think you're going to bounce back. Because she knows he's gay. And it's like, okay, that's a whole other storyline that you're just going to, we're going to just pretend that that's just, and play it off for laughs. And that was his only character trait, was that he was obsessed with himself. And then he became gay. And that was his
snob.
That was his entire character. There was no...
Right.
Nothing.
All of the characters were very one-dimensional.
And, like, he tries to give her a wedding ring, but it's comically oversized. Like, if I went into
an engagement ring, yeah. It was huge.
You could tell it was plastic.
Yeah.
It looked plastic.
The stone was ginormous.
It looked like something you would get out of, like, a cornflakes box.
I don't know, what would that be, like a 6-carat?
He could have given her a ring pop.
And then it was,
like,
like, 3 sizes too big. Like, it would have been big for her thumb. Like, who gets a ring that size? If you don't know a lady's size, you normally get a size 7.
I don't...
That had to have been like a size 12.
But, like, I knew your size before I did your rings. I never got anything comically huge.
Right, because most rings, if you don't know their size, for ring fingers, 7.
But I knew your size.
Usually the guess, yes.
I found out your size.
It's true.
I don't understand. There were so many things in that movie where I was like, wait, what? But Santa Claus is a sociopath.
He's creepy.
He's got that big smile at the end when he's backing out, and I was like,
yes.
Is he going off to murder somebody? All he needed was an axe. All he needed was an axe over his shoulder, and off he goes. This Santa Claus here on my jersey this is a fantastic Santa. This is how Santa Claus should look. Not some crazy guy at a shop in the middle of nowhere.
It was weird.
And it's Christmas. Shouldn't he be off supervising the elves? Who's supervising the elves, Santa? You're out here hawking wares. What was it? You selling snow globes? Oh my God, he's Krampus. The snow globes, it has a family from Krampus in there. Oh my gosh, that's the tie-in. He's got like a perception filter from Doctor Who, so
There you
they
go.
see
Well,
Santa
that
Claus,
would
but he's
make more
Krampus.
sense him throwing him off the mountain.
He's Krampus, and the snow globe was the family from the movie Krampus. That's what was in there. So in the sequel, it's going to be Krampus too, and we're all going to be like, "Wow, we had no idea this was the tie-in." I'm trying to make it smarter than it was. I'm trying to make it all make sense. It was an odd movie.
It was bad. Not even entertainingly bad, though.
No, it was.
It was just bad.
There were so many things that
one-dimensional, over-exaggerated
I kept asking her. I kept saying,
writing.
"Is it me? Is this movie as odd and weird and off-putting as I think it is?" Because sometimes it's me, and no, in this case, it wasn't me. So, tread lightly with this one if you've been on the fence about this one. Maybe watch Scrooged. Spirited was very good. We haven't done a review for Spirited, but Spirited is very good.
Yeah,
Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell, and a very good movie. We enjoyed that one quite a bit.
Our boys really
the
liked
boys
it
enjoyed
too.
that one too. And it's a fun little movie. Ryan Reynolds, of course, is Ryan Reynolds. Will Ferrell's Will Ferrell. You know what you're getting with them. But it was a fun little movie. And weirdly, oddly enough, I've seen criticism of that movie, and yet I thought that was well put together. It was about as good as you can get if you're updating A Christmas Carol. And I mean, there were little things in that one that were kind of odd, but in general, it was funny, it was entertaining, and it moved along. And this one was just
awful,
weird,
awful,
weird. And at the end of it, I even thought, this movie seems short. Nothing happened.
And we knew that she was gonna become a good person. And
she never changes back.
And we knew
like
it.
usually when somebody has amnesia in a show or a movie, when they get their memory back, they kind of turn back into who they were. She didn't.
No,
she stayed exactly the same. I am now this person. I reject that person that I've been for the last 20 years. It's not really how it would work in real life. Although Hollywood does tend to use the traumatic brain injury a lot. Because I don't know that I've heard of anybody getting amnesia like in a movie.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I know my son trying to feign amnesia once when he hurt himself. And I had a nurse tell me, yeah, he says he can't remember anything. I'm like, yeah, he'll remember. And within half an hour, he's like, I think my memory's coming back. And I'm like, yeah, you think? So,
kids are fun.
I looked like such a jerk of a dad at that moment. Like, he says he can't remember anything. I'm like, yeah, sure he doesn't. Sure, right, yeah. Uh-huh. All right. I'm going to take a walk with him. We'll see what he remembers and when. I think it's going to be a miracle.
Teenagers.
I don't get it. I don't like, and again, I like Lindsay Lohan. Like, and there is one Easter egg in this movie where she sings a song like in Mean Girls, but then they cut that off. And they don't, I know she sings again later in the movie, but they don't really pay that off.
They didn't do as much as I thought.
I thought some big Zooey
were
Deschanel
doing
type movie moment was going to happen, like in the movie Elf, where her
I thought
singing
they were going to sing a song together at that little party.
It's going to be like Whoville. It's going to be just this big moment, and the Who's are all going to start singing.
Because they were doing the outside. But then they didn't...
They didn't pay it off. They didn't pay it off.
I totally thought she was going to have her sing a song.
Yeah, nothing.
It would have actually worked in the movie.
Yeah.
Unlike many things that did not work.
Yeah. So, anyways, if you watch the movie and you enjoy it, let us know.
You can commiserate in the comments.
In the comment section below, there was a lot of choices made in making that movie and filming it and distributing it and releasing it. There's some bravery in there. There's some bewildering decisions made as well. But hey, you guys can let me know your thoughts. I figured a ram's hat because they were on a mountain and there's rams on a mountain, so sure that works. And you know, ski hills, you get rams. You can put skis on them too, but I don't recommend it.
Christmas decorations.
It's ridiculous.
They're everywhere.
Like I said, it would make those railings completely useless.
So many Christmas decorations. I want to go to a hotel where my room is completely decorated.
All of the mirrors. All of the mirrors, all of the eaves, everything.
There's garland
around every doorway. Everything everywhere is Christmas.
Everything, trees, everywhere. So many trees.
Did you notice in his place there, he had like a Christmas tree just in the middle of a hallway?
There was a bunch. Yes, there was one on the stairway too. They had a stair kind of like ours, and they had a complete Christmas tree. That'd make it hard to go up those stairs. I wonder how many times they have a branch.
That's on top of the fact that the railings are useless because they're completely covered in Christmas stuff. How many people fall down those stairs? And not one person fell down. There's so many things you could have done with this movie that would have made it more entertaining. You know, you could have the little girl tumble down the stairs.
No.
It worked. Well, remember in Gone with the Wind, you know, they have a daughter.
Shannon.
And then...
Okay, you can stop.
I remember the first time I saw Gone with the Wind, I was like, wait, did that just happen?
You're like, what?
Are we glossing that over? We're just glossing it over? That little girl died? That's it? She's never mentioned again? She's never mentioned again.
The movie, nope.
But that's a movie of sociopaths as well, but it's not a Christmas sociopaths movie. Just awful people.
Mm-hmm.
But that movie, I don't think there was, like... Even the good guy in this with the daughter, he's kind of dopey. I thought he was kind of...
Oh, the dad. I was like...
The dad I thought was kind of...
Yeah, he's very one-dimensional.
Kind of dopey.
His whole character is he's a single dad because his wife died and he's not sure if he can do this anymore.
And then his mother-in-law is there.
So ridiculous,
and
too.
she just, within a couple of days, you can replace my daughter.
It was like the first... Oh, they were barely there. Here's pictures of my dead daughter. But you make him happy now.
It's like, what? Like, amnesia or not, anybody's running for the door. But there's this book in here. You can look through pictures of my dead daughter, and you're her new replacement. Look, all of her clothes fit you.
So
gone.
Bizarre.
Like that's going towards misery. You could have
weird.
You know, just Lindsay Lohan takes a drink of wine, knocked out.
This is really long. That's just like,
but anyways,
this movie was bizarre. Worst Christmas movie. It really was.
You guys can let me know your thoughts.
And I've watched a lot of crappy Christmas movies.
It was bad.
This was the worst I've ever watched.
It was bad. It was pretty bad.
It was bad.
Anyways, I don't think it was the worst that I've watched. I've watched some Christmas movies I didn't like as much as you did. I think this one at least kept my attention. Some of them, not as much. But at any rate, you guys can let me know your thoughts. Like and subscribe if you browsed your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for all your support. We will talk to you again soon.